Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to all of you joining us here in the chapel and on YouTube. We're especially glad to have those of you who may be with us for the first time, and we hope to see you again soon. I'm Jean Weigant, your worship leader today. Mary Reese is our pianist, and our speaker is our own Reverend Landerman Zucker, whose topic is Blessed Are, a Humanist Sermon on the Mount for 2023. Am I okay? Yep. Okay. As we begin our service today, let us acknowledge that for at least 13,000 years, many tribes and bands have made their lives here where our church home and our communities now exist. We remember and honor these people who made their homes in this land, the ones here now and those who lived here before. In peace, may we share this land with one another. Let's take a moment now to greet each other here today, both in the chapel and online. Please stand and face the cameras, which are at the back under the clock, and wave hello to our friends online. And then turn and greet your neighbor.
So you have one like that though? How are you? Good to see you.
I love that it takes a while to end the visiting part. For our online guests, if you would like to share a joy or concern during that portion of the service, or if you have an announcement, you can do so by entering it in the YouTube chat, and those will be shared aloud with everyone. I also encourage you to identify yourself in the chat so we may better acknowledge your presence with us today. Before we go farther, I need to know, and I need to share with you, what the restrictions are on going out into the other part of the building. I think you all saw that we come and go from this door, and even though it looks like you can go down the hall, please don't. There's asbestos tiles there, and they're in the process of renovating, fixing our problem. Our call to worship today is a responsive reading. And I will read the yellow and you will read the white. I wasn't sure what the colors were going to be, so I had to check. You are blessed when you hit rock bottom. Because then you can rely on others You are blessed when you mourn.
That means you feel compassion and empathy for others. You begin to understand that we are all one.
You are blessed when you are humble and authentic.
That is worth way more than fleeting power and material possessions.
You are blessed when you hunger and thirst after spiritual things instead of worldly things.
You will feel full instead of empty.
You are blessed when you express kindness.
You will be more likely to receive kindness in return.
You are blessed when you allow goodness to fill your mind, heart, and soul.
Then you will be more likely to see these things in the outside world.
You are blessed when you live in peace and create peace.
Then you will understand what it means to be fulfilling the dream for world peace.
Be blessed and be a blessing. Let your light shine. As we light our chalice, we say, for this 1 hour, Spirit of life, we let go. For this 1 hour, may we let go of our anxieties, our fears, our anger, our self-doubts, our regrets, our petty grievances, and our distractions. If only for this 1 hour, let the flame of this chalice burn them from our hearts and minds and light our way to peace and serenity for this one holy hour.
We'll also light 3 Advent candles this morning. We'll light one for hope, one for peace, if we can, and one for joy. Good morning, everyone. What a turnout. Yay. Hi. Please come on in and sit down. All our kids are here for our child dedication today. Yay. Today I'm going to be preaching about the humanitarian Jesus, the one who Unitarian Universalists know and embrace, particularly at this time of year. And I begin with these opening words by Richard Davis called, "He is me." One of the oxen said, "I know him, he is me, a beast of burden, used, abused, excluded from the feast, a toiler, one of whom no task will be refused. I wish him strength, I give him room." One of the shepherds said, "I know him, he is me, a man who wakes when others sleep, whose watchful eyes will scan the drifted snow at night, alert for lost sheep. I give this lamb, I wish him sight." One of the wise men said, "I know him, he is me, a king on wisdom's pilgrimage, one Plato claimed would bring the world back to its old, unclouded golden age. I wish him truth, I give him gold." Mary, his mother, said, I know his heart's need, it is mine. The self, the symbol of the selfless life he gives. I give him life, I wish him love. We'll deepen into worship with our first hymn. It's number 226, People Look East. It will also be on the screen. Please rise as you are willing and able. Please be seated. So I'd like to invite the families who are having their children dedicated today forward. And I'm going to, oh, what a cute outfit, So I'm going to ask the parents to stand with their children sort of in a row here. So if you can move over, move over a little that way or stand in the middle. But we're going to fit 3 families up here this morning. Great. Can you move a little more this way? Thanks. Great. Right there. It's perfect. Hi, everybody. Hey. This is the first child dedication I've done for you here at East Rose, so I don't know if the wording will be similar to what you're used to, but here it goes. The ceremony in which we will now share is both ancient and timeless. It's a tradition to welcome our children into the larger community of fellowship and faith. We recognize that each child is a special gift to us, an individual in their own right, a reminder of their ongoing promise and creative power. And each child is precious, with a right to a warm and loving reception. And little children in particular are magic. They unite us all, parents and non-parents, old and young, all genders, all brought together by the arrival of a child. This is a special occasion shared by parents, family, and friends to mark the fact that we all have a responsibility for the care and nurturing of these children. So at this time, we wish to recognize these children by their given names, for it is their names which are symbolic of the individuality we affirm. So we start with Hans, Cooper, Paul. Hans was born on May 9th, 2012. Your parents, Ryan and Deanna, tell me that Hans is a common name in the Nordic and Germanic countries of our ancestors. And because Hans is a classic with names like Hansel, according to your parents, you are social, sweet, curious, and persistent, an ambitious baby. Not sure what that means, but he's ambitious. Jonah, Curtis, taller. You were born on June 10th, 2015. Your parents, Chris and Tara, said, we have many J names on both sides of our family, but only one Jonah, which means peace, literally dove, or pigeon, which we talked about last week. They say you are strong, determined, active, precise, careful, a lover of animals, all of them, even the oft-look creepy crawlies. Riley Thomas Biggerstaff, you were born on May 25th, 2016, and your parents, Jessica Heflin and Cody Biggerstaff, chose your name to honor family members. They say you are helpful, funny, and thoughtful. And Fiona Laddie Biggerstaff, you were born on October 20th, 2018, and your parents named you for beloved ancestors too. And they describe you as genuine, outgoing, and curious. Your parents have brought you forward among those assembled to celebrate your dedication, to celebrate the joy they have that you are part of their family and count themselves blessed. In the loving and watchful embrace of family and friends, you will learn to count the number of your days and to weigh their meaning, to gather into your mind the wisdom of your ancestors, to know why we call one thing right and another thing wrong, to treasure beauty, mercy, and justice in the deep part of your being. Ryan, Deanna, Chris, Tara, Jessica, and Cody in absentia, let's see if there's someone, who present their children here today, you obviously have the greatest and most difficult and most important task. You are their parents. You know that they depend on your love and care. Your attentive love will cradle and shelter them for many years. In presenting your children here, you invite all of us to share some of the joy and responsibility that is yours as parents. You seek our support in your dedication to the task of fostering love and guidance and the full unfolding of the personality of your child. This is where only having two hands can be such a drawback. So I ask you, parents, do you now promise that to the best of your human ability, you will help your children to an appreciation of truth and beauty, show them love and nurturing, and instill values to help them build strong character? If so, please say, we do.
We do.
So now please speak your children's first names out loud.
Riley.
And then repeat after me as a group. I love you.
I love you.
You know, I think your mom is just going to do this part. I am your parent, and you are my child.
Parent, you are my child.
There is no more sacred bond.
I am the sacred mom.
In all the days and years to come,
In all the days and years to come,
I promise you my loving care,
I promise you my loving care,
providing you roots and wings,
providing you roots and wings,
that you may feel safe,
that you may feel safe,
and that you may one day fly.
and that you may one day fly.
I am so glad you entered my life.
I'm so glad you entered my life.
I love you.
I love you.
And now I ask the congregation, do you, beloved friends and family assembled, take upon yourself the privilege and responsibility of helping to nurture the heart, character, and spirit of these children? Do you affirm your role as one of loving support and encouragement? If so, please say, we do.
We do.
That was enthusiastic. And I'm going to put this down because I need my hand for something else. Riley Thomas Biggerstaff, I dedicate you to the service of goodness, beauty, and truth. I touch you with this white flower, a symbol of the beautiful unfolding life we wish for you. I touch you with water, symbolizing the purity with which you were born and that will carry you throughout your life. I touch you on your brow, your eyes, and your lips. that your thoughts, vision, and speech, you can have the flower, may be dedicated to the goodness, dedicated to love and service of all humanity. Fiona Laddie Biggerstock, I dedicate you to goodness, beauty, and truth. I touch you with this white flower, a symbol of the beautiful unfolding life we wish for you. I touch you with this water, which symbolizes the purity with which you were born and will carry throughout your life. I touch you on your brow, your eyes, and your lips, so that your thoughts, vision, and speech may be dedicated to love and service of all humanity. Hans, Cooper, Paul, I dedicate you to the service of goodness, beauty, and truth. I touch you with this white flower, a symbol of the beautiful unfolding life we wish for you. I touch you with this water, which symbolizes the purity with which you were born and will carry throughout your life. I touch you on your brow, your eyes, and your lips, so that your thoughts, vision, and speech will be dedicated to love and service of all humanity. Want the flower? Daddy will hold it. And Jonah Curtis Fuller, I dedicate you to the service of goodness, beauty, and truth. I touch you with this white flower, a symbol of the beautiful unfolding life we wish for you. I touch you with this water, which symbolizes the purity with which you were born and will carry throughout your life. I touch you on your eyes, and your lips, that your thoughts, your vision, and your speech may be dedicated to the love and service of all of humanity. We might have a battery issue there. By the service of dedication, we have committed ourselves to Hans, Jonah, Riley, and Fiona. We will love and cherish them always in times of struggle as well as gladness. Spirit of life, thank you for the birth of these beautiful children into this world, into this family, and into this beloved community. We offer ourselves this day as caretakers and partners in their spirit and higher minds. May we fulfill with strength and joy our role in the lives of these children and their parents and their grandparents. May the spirit of these families from generations past and into the future burst forth to bless and sustain Hans, Jonah, Riley, and Fiona. Let us all say amen. Amen. Jean, if you could stay up here for a moment.
We have a special song to sing to you children today. It was written by Mary Reese, and we're going to teach it to you briefly, to all of you, and then we will all sing it to the children. Mary, can you tell us a little more about the song, please?
I wrote this song almost 20 years ago, especially for the child dedication service. And I wrote the words with this thought in mind, that it's about the story of their whole life and how all of us as their church family can support them along the way. So I'd kind of like this to become a tradition, and so we're going to teach you the chorus of this song today. And Jean is going to sing the verses in between. So,
over here.
yeah, if the children could move over just a little bit.
Actually, I'm fine here.
Jean's going to sing to you. Everybody stay seated, and the words will be up there. And then we're going to teach you the chorus.
Shall I sing it to you first once? I sing it to you first once.
I'll play it through.
Okay.
And
Mary's going to
then
play
we'll
it
sing
through
it
once, and then we'll sing the chorus together.
Yeah, it's going to go verse, chorus, chorus, chorus. So here's how the chorus goes.
This time with you as families. We invite you now to go to RE with Tara. I think you're going to lead the way sort of around the building, right? You've got a solution for everything. We can sing them out. I suppose.
Okay.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you
invite you into that quiet place where we just take a moment to not be singing or hearing words or saying words. So I invite you to uncross your legs, uncross your arms, maybe put your hands open on your lap, close your eyes, and big inhale and exhale to start. Just one cleansing breath. I like to say stop and feel, breathe, and allow. Just breathe, no high thinking, no problem solving, no right and wrong. Start your rhythmic breathing, 4 beats in through your nose slowly, 5 or 6 beats out through your mouth slowly, in a steady stream, dropping your shoulders, relaxing your face, and feeling how your breath creates spaciousness for you from the crown of your head down to the soles of your feet, and how good it feels to be spacious. Your breath goes everywhere with you. It's portable first aid for your mind, your body, and your spirit. So just breathe. We'll remain seated to sing our quiet song. It is Dark of Winter. The words will be on the screen, but it is number 55 in the gray hymnal.
I'll play it all the way through once because we haven't done it for 4 years.
So what does the word upstaged mean? Our reading today is by Robert Fulghum, who is a well-loved author and Unitarian minister. Christmas Explained to an Anxious Heathen. Jesus never had a Christmas tree. Jesus never sang jingle bells. Jesus never got to sit on Santa Claus' knee. In fact, Jesus didn't know anything about Christmas at all. If he were suddenly to reappear next week, he would be utterly baffled. That's me, Robert Fulghum, trying to be helpful to a young agnostic friend who is somewhat anxious and defensive about Christmas and what's expected of her. She doesn't quite know how to relate to the idea of a newborn king, or angelic choirs, or visiting astrologers. And she's confused and conflicted about the raucous holiday juggernaut that bears down on her every year about this time. She was not raised in a religious community. Her family had no religious affiliation, and Christmas was not an important part of her life. She doesn't know most of the Christmas carols, the historical background of the Christmas traditions, or the underlying theology of the Christmas story. The closest she came to getting burned by the Christmas fire was being in a school pageant once when she was a kid. She was Joseph. Why? Because she was the tallest kid in the class, and Joseph had no lines in the tableau. All she had to do was stand there in her long bathrobe and beard and say nothing, just look perplexed. Probably a very accurate depiction of the original Joseph, actually. I told her that she and Jesus have a lot in common. Jesus never went to church or Sunday school. Jesus never had a Bible, never owned a rosary, never went to confession. Jesus wouldn't understand about the Easter Bunny. Jesus wasn't even a Christian or an American. Jesus was a Jew born in a land under Roman jurisdiction. And Jesus was confused and conflicted about the religion of his day. If Jesus returned to earth, he would be just as confused and conflicted about the religion and cultural Christmas tsunami of our day as she is. On the other hand, if he came to dinner at our house, she would like him. He was a fine storyteller, enjoyed good red wine, and was the kind of guy who would help clean up the dishes after the meal. He liked good people, and she is one of those. Jesus would like her. What should she do then about Christmas? My advice is to just get simple-minded for a few days. Good is good. Go for the good. Look for the good. Notice it. Praise it. Be good. A lot of good things are going on this time of year. Be part of that. Getting together with friends is good. Singing with friends is good. Laughing and hugging and kissing are good. Giving those you love a present that makes your affection clear is good. Giving something to those in need is also good. Decorating the house is good. Candles and incense and some fir branches in the house and a music box is good. Going outside late at night and looking at the stars is good. Being hopeful for a few days at least, that's good. Cookies and pies are good. Slowing down and taking life easy for a few days is good. Reflecting on what's good about your life is good. Don't worry about the words of the Christmas songs. Listen to the music. Don't worry about the theology of Christmas. People always need something to explain the wonders of this life that are beyond them. Forget about the virgin birth. Every birth is an unfathomable miracle. Don't get anxious about angels hovering around like giant moths. Some angels are real and young and lovely. They just don't realize it. Be kind. Be generous. Reach for the good in ways large and small. Risk optimism. Most of us are doing the best we can most of the year. And this time of year, we often try a little harder to love our neighbors and ourselves. That's good. It's like this. The good existed in the human race long before Christmas, and it will remain essential to the human race long after Christmas is gone. And every day and every night is sacred to those who believe that.
Every year around Christmas, I embark on a sermonator's quest to ferret out what is trending in our popular culture about Jesus. I am often late to the party on what I find, yet I am always fascinated by how this renowned figure continues to mystify and captivate us. This year, I discovered 3 Magi-worthy treasures. Perhaps you've heard of the wildly popular TV series called The Chosen. Anybody? I first encountered it in an article in the Atlantic magazine, and then I followed that up with a dive into the Twitter hashtag #BingeJesus. It was launched with $10 million in crowdfunding, has its own app, and is independently produced by something called Angel Studios. The series streams for free on YouTube and elsewhere and can also be accessed on Netflix. I noticed that this year there is also a film based on the series in the local Cineplex with the catchy but wordy title, Christmas with the Chosen, O Holy Night. Now, as I clicked play, a disclaimer appeared on the screen, and it reads, "The Chosen series is based on true stories of the Gospels of Jesus Christ. Timelines and locations have been combined and condensed. Backstories and some characters and dialogue has been added. However, all biblical and historical context and any artistic imagination are designed to support the truth and intention of the Scriptures. Viewers are encouraged to read the Gospels." Good advice. More about that later. At first, I was amused. Backstories, additional characters, modern jargon, and an apostle on the autism spectrum. Seriously, what is this? The White Lotus, Yellowstone, the Big Bang Theory? Yet on further reflection, the strategy kind of makes sense, because to stretch this series to 3 seasons so far from the actual Jesus narrative would absolutely require the producers to embellish with backstories and additional characters, given how little even the most world-renowned scholars have been able to verify about Jesus' life, his 3-year ministry, and his death at age 33. Regarding the reference to the truth and intention of the Scriptures, well, that's another kettle of loaves and fishes altogether. I'm not going to get into it today. As some of you know, I think most of you know at this point, I was raised in a Jewish home. It was taboo to talk about Jesus or even show curiosity about him. We knew he was a Jew, check mark in our column, but that he was not considered our Messiah. We had it drilled into us, sometimes subtly, sometimes very, very implicitly, that Christians had persecuted and killed us for millennia, all in his name. Reading the New Testament? Why would we? Wasn't our story, not our guy. It would be subversive. We'll stick with Moses, Solomon, and throw in an Esther and a Maccabee for good measure. But then I married a Catholic, and I went to Mass with his family. Oy vey. What a foreign experience for me, and the crucifix over the chancel bewildered and even frightened me. Who is this man being tortured on a cross? When I became a Unitarian Universalist, I met a very different Jesus, the humanitarian Jesus, not Christ, not a God who allegedly died for my sins, just Jesus. If you are new to this uncommon denomination, here's a bullet train recap. We are descended from devout Puritans and Calvinists. Our two historical branches were progressively liberal Protestant denominations. Unitarians parted company with the Congregationalists in the 1830s over two big issues. The Trinity, we believed that God was a unified and benevolent whole, and whether Jesus was God or man. We leaned into the teachings and examples of the human Jesus and away from the doctrines of his divinity, led by famed Unitarian rabble-rousers like the Reverend Ralph Waldo Emerson. Now, the Universalists experienced their breach with the Free Baptists over the question of whether salvation was available, albeit not promised, to all. And they said, yes. In 1995, I entered Harvard Divinity School, originally founded to train Unitarian ministers, like Emerson, in fact. This was the first time I cracked open the New Testament at age 38. Yes, I felt a bit queasy, but I quickly got over it. Not only was it a requirement, but I actually was interested, and I was fascinated. One of the key tools of scholarly inquiry you employ when studying the New Testament through what's called the historical critical method is that the Gospels were written by 4 different authors for 4 different distinct audiences, heavily influenced by politics and culture. A good marketing strategy for a new religious movement. The Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, where we find the fullest version of the Sermon on the Mount, also known as the Beatitudes, that was written for a Jewish audience. It includes the most references back to the Old Testament prophecies, especially regarding the Messiah, and begins each sentence with the well-known words, "Blessed are," an echo of Baruch atah, the words that begin nearly all Jewish prayers. Baruch atah Adonai, blessed art thou, O Lord, our God. Jesus would certainly know these prayers. He was born Joshua ben Joseph and was considered a rabbi, after all. And Jesus is addressed this way frequently as rabbi throughout the episode of The Chosen that I screened this week. The series is really well made, and I'll also give them production points for casting the Egyptian actor Jonathan Rumi in the title role. He is Middle Eastern, with brown skin and brown eyes, just like Jesus, a Semite from Judea. Not the blonde, blue-eyed Scandinavian Jesus we see hanging in the foyer of Boston parochial schools. I kept waiting to see something in the episode that would flip my switch to, oh, there we go again, idolatry of a man who was good enough as a human being to be admired and followed. But it didn't come. Perhaps if I watch the 3 existing seasons of the planned 7, that's a lot of additional backstory, it undoubtedly will. One thing I love about the series is that it dwells on moments from the daily lives of the characters, with noteworthy events that are familiar to us scattered into the episodes. And I was especially keen to watch the clip of Jesus delivering the Sermon on the Mount, his most iconic oratory. Rumi is a gentle, warm Jesus, the one I've come to know through Unitarian Universalism. Not quite a Zen master, but calm and grounded, a leader, a presence, very appealing. Historically, I learned, my tuition dollars at work, Jesus did not preach this sermon to the masses. He offered it privately to only 4 of his apostles. We don't see that in the depictions of the sermon. We see this huge crowd gathered around him. If a crowd did gather, they stood at a distance. In the clip, Jesus wakes his apostle Matthew, which makes sense, and tells him that he wishes to give him directions. He uses that word, directions. He delivers his signature sermon on the hill. Blessed are the meek, the poor in spirit, the merciful, the pure of heart, those who mourn. And then Matthew asks, where is the map? To which Jesus replies, if someone wants to find me, look among those groups. Friends, is there a more humanist message than that? My colleague, the Reverend John Nichols, has penned a collection of UU reflections on Scripture called A Wind Swept Over the Water. And naturally, he includes one about the Beatitudes. I agree with his notion that Jesus begins by endorsing qualities we don't usually appreciate, such as meekness, which can also be translated as humility. However, according to Nichols, we can understand the passage this way. He writes, blessed are those who do not conceive themselves as rich already, because they know they have much to learn, so there is much more they will learn. Blessed are those who allow themselves to grieve, for by working through their grief, they will find greater strength and confidence in life. Blessed are those who do not stride over the face of the earth as if they own all of it. They will become much more at home. Blessed are those who hunger for justice, for their efforts will eventually bear fruit, while those who never try will never change the world. Blessed are the compassionate, for life will treat them at least as kindly as they treat others. Blessed are those who are open to surprise, to challenge, to love, for their openness will bring them more blessings than they could ever imagine. I believe that if Jesus came back today, in addition to all the things Robert Fulgham points out, I believe he would recognize the wonderful yet weary world we inhabit, and he would get busy. I believe that he would also refute some aspects of the Christianity that was founded in his name. Jim Palmer of the Center for Non-Religious Spirituality offers these examples: that a religion was formed to worship him instead of a movement to advance the message of his ministry, especially the Sermon on the Mount; that humankind stands condemned before God and deserves divine wrath, requiring the death of a gentle, wise teacher to fix it; that people think there's magical potency in uttering the name of Jesus rather than accessing their own natural human powers and conscience to effect change; that Jesus is meant to be associated with power, exclusion, politics, and doctrines, rather than courage, justice, beauty, and love. Now, this misappropriation of Jesus has stirred up a lot of concern among American Christians with deep pockets. In October of 2022, the Singatree Christian Foundation in Kansas launched a $100 million campaign called He Gets Us, blanketing cities and the web, aiming to redeem the Jesus brand from the damage done by some of his followers. The messages are so appealing. Jesus let his hair down too. Jesus was lonely too. Jesus had a complicated family too. Jesus was an activist too. Jesus was homeless too. These have been posted on billboards in major markets and viewed millions of times on their engaging website. He gets us. In essence, he is me, as the opening poem suggests. Discovering this campaign has been my second Magi gift this week. But that said, upon further research, I did discover that some fairly extreme right-wing money was behind this campaign. Alas, nothing is what it seems when you roll away the stone. Even so, the good stuff is there in theory. I'm not going to dismiss it. John Lee, one of the chief architects of the project, notes that Jesus said, "People will know my followers by the way they love each other and the way they interact with each other," and that the goal of the campaign is the authentic teachings of Jesus, the ones that real human beings can relate to and be represented more prominently in our culture. And those are the teachings we find only in the Gospels. So earlier, when that disclaimer says, we recommend you read the Gospels, good advice. And Lee adds, sounding suspiciously like a humanist, that he gets us, believes that investing in efforts to ensure more people consider his life and movement as inspirations for their own will in turn help improve the lives of those listening and begin to create the cascade of love Jesus himself sought to generate. In essence, the refrain, "For they shall know God," in the Sermon on the Mount, can be interpreted by us with integrity as Unitarian Universalists as "for they shall know goodness." As Fulgham tells us, good is good. Was Jesus a real person? A conflation of many wandering wisdom teachers and mystics and healers in his time? Some say so. Did he walk on water, feed the multitudes, decide the salvation of others? Even the foremost Jesus scholars in the world aren't certain of much. And none of these matter unless you are using Jesus as a weapon or a tool to control people, damn their identities, and extort their money, especially vulnerable folk who just want some hope and some inspiration. Hashtag woke Jesus is trending these days too, by the way. Woke Jesus. One of the most disturbing news items I encountered this week from the editor of Christianity Today, Russell Moore, and he was a leader in the Southern Baptist Conference till he left because he couldn't tolerate their theology or politics anymore. Russell Moore warns that Christianity is moving so far right that evangelicals are chiding their pastors for quoting the Sermon on the Mount. They ask, quote, "Why are you preaching these liberal talking points?" And when the clergy explain, "I am actually literally quoting Jesus," the response has been, "That's too weak and too woke." Absolutely jaw-dropping, isn't it? Jesus is too woke. I don't recognize the Jesus of Christian nationalism, prosperity gospels, and coercive fire and brimstone sales pitches or ultimatums. If you focus on his human narrative as a refugee, a homeless baby, full of promise and destiny, a radical rabbi and a healer, the Sermon on the Mount is all you may need for inspiration. Make a copy, put it in your pocket. Yep, it's woke. And if you want to donate your money, give it in the direction of the Beatitudes, supporting the most marginalized in our society. I'll throw in one more, a third resplendent Magi gift. UU Minister Carlton Smith's new book, Try My Jesus, a curated collection of gospel passages that affirm, inspire, and comfort. Carlton is actually our regional lead here in the Pacific Northwest. The Reverend Smith wrote this book to heal some of his own wounds, pardon me, from being shunned by his Baptist church in the Deep South years ago when he came out as a young, gay black man. He gets that Jesus gets him. He writes, where before I had memories of preachers denouncing faggies and lessies, now there was another voice, one that embodied what life could be for someone who defined Jesus for themselves. And the message became clearer with time. You don't have to be a prisoner to other people's beliefs. You don't have to feel separated from universal love. Open your heart to it so that you and everyone around you are blessed. So may it be for us, open-hearted and blessed, and stepping lively as we follow the directions. Blessed be, blessed we, blessed are, and amen. Our final hymn is number 224, Let Christmas Come. Please rise as you are willing and able.
I'll play it all the way through. Please be seated.
I'm going to use this opportunity to just say one of my own things. Leave your wallets alone. Just let them sit there for now. Our collection. Half of each week's Sunday collection is shared with a local nonprofit. The fourth quarter of the year, we are sharing our bounty with Our Just Future. Our Just Future counters the forces that keep people and communities in poverty by building relationships and assets that create opportunity today and for future generations. If you are a first-time visitor, please let the basket pass you by. You are our guest today. We now will gratefully receive the gifts of the congregation. Now go for those wallets. As we extinguish our chalice today, let us hear these words. Together, we have enjoyed the warmth and beauty of stories, of this flame, and of this special community. As our chalice flame is extinguished this morning, we can still remember that its glow is carried within us. We can use our inner lights and this flame to kindle new sparks throughout our lives and in the world. May the spirit of peace and togetherness bless your lives.
Our benediction today is from Philippians, also from the New Testament. And before I offer it, I want to say that you are entitled to have Christmas and Jesus mean anything you want it to mean to you. But may it mean goodness that you can take out into the world. And on that note, Christmas Eve, our service is at 4 o'clock. We have one service. We will not have a morning service. And it is going to be full of joy-filled, light, wonderful readings and music. So I hope you'll all be here for that, and candle lighting, and silent night, and all those goodies, and Christmas carols. So I offer this benediction. Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return to no person evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings. Go out in love, return in peace and joy.
I don't have any announcements up here right now. John, did you get any announcements online?
None over here.
Okay, Cynthia has an announcement she would like to make.
This is such a joy to look out here and see this congregation full, and especially given the circumstances of our building. I just want you all to know that we've passed the rough part. There's just a little bit more to do. It's still substantial what we've got to do. We had to clean up, dig out, pull up, get a multitude of bids to make sure we were spending money wisely, have numerous meetings, and an awful lot of time spent by your fellow congregants, most especially our administrator, Sherry Sirkin, who I want to call out as being how incredibly fortunate we are to have her. That being said, it's no fun to have to use a portable toilet in the cold. And we hope that maybe by this time for Christmas Eve service, we might have the facilities back in operation. prayers or good wishes or whatever are welcome in that regard. But I think it's very hard to get things scheduled this time of year, you know, folks. It's not that we're dragging our feet. There are a lot of hurdles to jump over. It's kind of like a domino thing where the sewer had a clog, and then this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. Anyway, we're down near the very end here, just about. So take heart. And that leads me to something that seems totally unrelated, but there's going to be a memorial service here on January 6th at 1 o'clock, and for Karen Goldman. If you've been here a number of years, you've known Karen throughout. If you're new, you may not have known her personally, but you may remember the lady that sat back there near the AV section in her wheelchair in the aisle. It took her a lot of effort to come to service in person each week, but she did it because she loved this congregation and she loved being here. And every time I saw Karen here and said hello, she had the most beautiful smile on her face because she was so happy to be here. Karen passed about 6 weeks ago, something like that. And we learned that she left this congregation everything she had. Everything. And that is going to help substantially in paying for all of these repairs, which are not cheap. So I'm still in awe of the fact that Karen passed. We received her notice of her generous bequest. This lady who has little family, just before the devastation that has hit us in this building. So thank you, Karen, very much. And I really hope you'll mark your calendar and come out on January 6th at 1 o'clock. It's a Saturday for her service, her memorial service. The reason I actually came up here to make an announcement is I need some help with planning some light refreshments for a small reception afterwards here at the church, which we hope will be all cleaned up and nice. We'll make it as nice as we can. Just some light cookies or brownie bites or something like that. And if you can help, please see me or just send me an email or text or call and let me know you can help. I won't be able to be here for Christmas Eve. I'll be out of town, but I will be here also on the 31st. So just let me know if you can bring a dozen cookies or something like that to help us out, okay? And say a little prayer for the spirit of Karen Goldman. Thank you. I already got one person.
With no other announcements, that ends our service. If you're attending online, you can exit the YouTube and connect to Cafe Conversations via Zoom. Those of you here in East Rose, it says here, are invited to remain, have some coffee, and visit. You're invited to remain and visit. There's no coffee.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week, yes. The end.
Thank you all.
Thank you.